Welcome. Wednesday. I would like to say it's a quiet one for now. It used to be quite volatile, but so far it's a quiet week as well. Last Sunday was quiet. So, yeah, let's see where we're going to heading. I mean, we still are in a good positioning from Sunday, as I've been mentioning as well. So, for now, yeah, on the wick side, we are sideways. And I just want to mention, like, this was even scary proper to the T, how quickly and how nice we got into the 31 area on VIX, and we literally dumped from it into the 20, so below 21, and we closed below that on 4 hour. So that's good to know, even if that doesn't look like on the daily, but still we could potentially fill this whole week and even go lower, right? What we technically want, or stay in this range. That's still possible. Be aware as well, even we are already quite high on the VIX, still 25 is a quite high number on it because we are aiming always to get below the 17 or around 15 and definitely staying below the 20, right? We are still higher up in it. So this is still kind of like a squeeze momentum what we're having, right, on the whole market and even economic wise. We are still holding on it, right? We're not up and down dumping or having those kind of structure. This is technically sideways, and we are in a range on VIX. What kind of rare for it, right? Last time we had it, we had something like that. It was a small one, but still, right? Like there is some momentums that we have those ranges on quite high volume. So yeah, it's something to consider as well, to look at it. But yeah, still the same area, right? Even if you are in this range, we need to get or above 31 or below 21. That's done. That's that 10% or the 10 digit movement of volume is still the key, right? So this is still gonna be the area to focus. So far, we are aiming to get below or around 21, just because of, if you're gonna look at the structure wise, right? If this is your high, this is your low that you don't want to break, and we technically did break. We retest the underside retest of this whole swing. So potentially now that's just relief bounce, and we could slowly fill this up and then even breaking. So that's what I'm kind of looking at it so far. Yeah, for me, no matter where the VIX is going to be, it's always interesting to see how volatile something is, but still good, potentially. So yeah, let's move on dollar. And same thing, not much been changing. We did the whole grind into the lows. Why I'm on 12 hours, I don't know. Still, we did the grind from the resistance, so we are not dumping as that hard and quickly as we all thought we're gonna do. Right? We did regain the high, but right now we are literally on the support that we settled down at 99, quite perfectly even, if you can say that. Right? We didn't still break the low of that one. That means the 98.7. So potentially this is still aiming to go higher, right? As easily as it is right now. Till we're not gonna break the 98, and we're gonna go back at previous support. That is 97. So overall, this is still aiming to go higher, but not maybe the best option for the market. But yeah, we kind of looking to get close or a little bit more get into the bear market stuff, right? So we are not really tempting and aiming for high stuff anymore, market wise. So yeah, that turnaround will happen sooner or later, right? But so far, yeah, this is still aiming to go back at $100. That, and we might see even potentially get back at 107, but that's the last kind of resort. I'm not even aiming for that one just because last time we didn't even get that. So if we're gonna be in this kind of structure, right? So then potentially aiming for 103-ish, this hip over here as a resistance or on the side retest. So yeah, but let's see. Time will tell. So far we're holding on support, and yeah, when we're holding on support, we're gonna get back at the previous high to retest that. If that's gonna be the flip, we're getting back at the $100. This is what it is. Market wise, or crypto overall look, we had a really nice pullback into the 704-ish support that I've been aiming. So that's really good bounce from it. And we had the high. So eventually, logically, right, we're going to follow up and we're going to get back at the resistance. If that's going to be the push higher up, we might see any diversion coming, but that's something on the different charts. I'm going to show you if we're going to pull up a new high on 750, there going to be some divergence happening. So yeah, is it possible to get back at 768? Yeah, definitely. We can even break that. Right, that's not a big deal. But yeah, still good overall. The fun part is that gold had a really massive nuke at 4,150. So that was a little bit something that I didn't expect doing it, but it happened. And yeah, we did break shitloads of stuff. So right now it's I bet you that's gonna range for a while. If we're not gonna fill up the wick, so we're not gonna do something like, I don't know, maybe the side. Oh, we need to go into small. Yeah, here. So if you have this resistance right now where we are at, right? So if we're not gonna fill this up like that and then do some reversal stuff and get at the high, go back, then that's gonna, believe me, that's gonna take a while for any kind of potential break of the highs. If that's still considering that we're gonna do sooner or later, or that's gonna be something that we've been dealing from here, right? April 2025 till, for example, August 2025, right? That whole kind of 6 months range. So yeah, can that do it over here? Definitely, it can. Erase that. Oh, we need to redo the levels later on, but yeah, so far it's not bueno. Definitely not. So still potential quite high to retest for almost 5k, right? For any on the side retest of the failures, that's fine. But then still, you're gonna keep that in the range. Still, we're not gonna settle some proper support, regain the high, come back, and then delete the resistance. But yeah, same thing. Well, on silver, we've been kind of like aiming for it to go lower on that one specific, just because it broke the whole structure quite significant. So yeah, that's been in the cards for it. We didn't reach the 53 yet, but still, that could be the next aim or the next leg down for it. So there is still some potential for commodities to go a little bit lower, definitely. Oil still in the range, not much change from the last time. Yeah, we had that push down into the lows. We didn't break that one, so overall, this is still uptrending, unfortunately. But yeah, getting at the highs, see if that's going to be resistance, pulling back, holding that, then you start to get at the highest point. Right. Eventually, we all wanted that this going to break, right? Well, that's not in the cards right now. Now, dominance still at the lowest. So that's good. We kind of low time frame regaining stuff, but still the highest one is at 59 or even back at the resistance that we failed from 59.8-ish area. So yeah, potentially it would be nice if we could see a failure from it, right? Something like this, and then start to do that kind of stuff. That would be really good for the up movement. But more likely, I'm looking at it as a range. Still, we're gonna break out from it, and then we're gonna see some bigger stuff before the bear market. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna get below the 57. I was aiming for it, to be honest. What did I do? Shit, move something. Okay. I was aiming that we're gonna get back below 57-ish on the bear market, but I'm not sure that's gonna be the case. Still, it is still downtrending overall, high time frame, so that's all good, right? That's what we want. Oh, moving on the market metric. I've been. Oh shit! Yeah, it's flicking. So today it's gonna be quite important day. on the daily close. Why? Because if the daily start to get a little bit more higher up, so that means if you're going to get at 71, 72, or even close to 21.5-ish area, and we close up there, cash flow start to get in positive, because it was today flicking or like flipping in from the neutral line into the positive. So that's kind of interesting. Why? Because then we technically doing exact the same thing what we did over here, and that means we potentially going into this high as in second high from the previous one what we creating. So that's the area that technically I'm aiming for. 79, 77, 76-ish hip. That whole hip, if we're going to get over here, we're going to create new high. We're going to get back in the positive. We could do one more afterwards that, right? Like something like that. And that's going to be the whole cash flow in and then bear market stuff, because we start to get divergent on it. So technically, that's what I'm looking for, right? Yeah, let's see. So far, it's kind of looking like we're gonna do one more, right? Just we're holding at the point of control. The bulls are stepping in. We started to get the 50 and 100 X's. Then we aiming for the 21. Where are they? 77 and 1, right? We could even push a little bit more higher up. Yeah, definitely. And then we start to get over divergent on the metrics. Done. Cash flow in, positive. First failure, resistance, and reversal sign. There it is, right? So yeah, let's see. But that's so far looking like we might pull it off. Now, second to add to this metric is the capital flow index. That said, right now I'm on the overall one, so this is still technically exact the same move. This is the high, this is the whole market. If we start to get back at 60 level, we gonna be oversold, because on the chart it's gonna look like that. We're gonna be divergent. And when we have that, believe me, and I'm using this as a spot area, if we have the divergency coming in and the flow start to get out quicker than the move, when the move is starting going higher up, that's the area that we're gonna do the whole freaking dump. So yeah. And by that I mean we're gonna be somewhere over here, right? And we might do even one more higher up, and then you start to see this going back at 60, this whole block like Ethereum, Bitcoin, and even the total to get here. And then you have your divergence from the cash flow and outflow. And that's going to be your first failure, first bigger failure on high time frame. Done. Same thing happened here. Right, so what did we had? It's hard to see, I know, but if you freaking zoom in on it, that was the first high. And over here, it was the second one, lower than the price went. So that's all. So yeah, that's the whole idea. I'm gonna come back to that one just because I want to cover some spot backs as well. In a second. That. So yeah, moving on. Interesting price action. We had it from last Sunday. We did came back perfectly to the daily high swing. That was really on point. I was aiming to go even a little bit low into that one to March properly, just because there was a little bit more liquidity to grab. Not much, but some. Still, we took out all of them. We had a spike into the highs. We did finally regain the whole hip that we came back from. 70.7 that I've been aiming for, and I mentioned that as well in the chat. Regaining that, coming back at the support, that means the 68.8-ish, or even we could go even lower to a weekly, but that's been already tested, so we didn't do it. And we did the perfect RSI flip, right? From this, up, go back, And now you're doing exactly the same thing, but then higher up. So right now you have a daily that you technically need to hold on right now. It's been already tested. So yeah, we're coming close to the daily right now, or closing anything below that, you start to get lower, and then we might even break the stuff. So far, this is still uptrending, what we kind of want, right? And potentially, if you want to use the fibs, then there it is as well, lining quite nicely with the 150 axis. So perfect. That's the last resort to go by. And we're going to aim for to flip the weekly, or we're going to deal with the underside retest and have a failure, or we're going to flip it and get at the highs. But then if we get at the highs, we start to get into this zone that I'm freaking aiming for so long already, right? So yeah, potentially that's still on the roadmap for it. Right now, what we are doing, 4 hour, we still up grinding. We did close everything below 71.3. Great stuff. Regaining that, settling the support, you're getting back at the previous weekly, right? Even if that's going to be the underside retest, because potentially, yeah, that still could be. There is a high time frame liquidity, underside retest, and resistance above us. Potentially, yes, that's still the aim. Regaining that, you get back at 76, 7. So that's the whole roadmap for it. Yeah, that's all. And technically, what we are doing right now is this whole movement is quite similar to what we're having over here. You could grind it out, do one more, fail from it, settling support, and then do another one. Same thing. Like the same thing. Even this is quite similar to this. So doing one more. Yep, definitely. Wait, what? So yeah, 4 hour-ish. That's kind of the aim that I'm looking at it. Still finding the support below at 60 or 70k, still fine for it to hold it. Failing the daily, that one might bring us lower. But then overall, the daily wise is a really, really good regain, because we did close the daily above 70.4. That's already a great regain for uptrend. That's all what you need to know, right? Same thing what we had over here, right? That regain of this whole high, setting your higher up. Not much to say about it. It's all perfectly lining around right now, right? Even this support played out perfectly to the T. We had a bounce from it, heavily and really quick one. Going back at the daily, that's the retest of the support, holding that, grinding higher. Done. Nothing to worry about, right? Till you start to close anything below 68.8, right? If you come back to it and you start to close a 4 hour over here, you start to get at the weekly again. That's been already tested. Then you start to fail it, right? Then yeah, that's start to get off the cliff. Definitely. So far, we're not there yet, right? We are aiming to go higher, because to flip this, what are we doing? Quite perfectly, right? There was a previous high, support, new high, get back. You technically fail that, right? You did fail that. So we close anything below and set retest. Where do you go? Here. Why? Because that's the support that we didn't test it while we've been running it higher, right? We run away from it. We didn't test it. So that support still open as a support. So going back at it, yeah, we could do bigger stuff, right? That's the whole idea. If you're not sure, turn around to chart and try to make out any sense from it. And then if that's going to be your sense, because right now what we are doing, technically this, turn it back on, I said, okay, yeah, that makes sense, right? Jesus, not even came quite perfectly to the side retest bar. Okay, anyhow. Yeah, I hope that makes quite a lot of sense. This is still uptrending, right? Till we're not gonna fail. What? We need to fail the 69 and close anything below the daily. So that's RSI flip. That's the 69.4 and 68.9. Those are the two levels. So technically you don't want to fail anything below that. And now you are in the range to grind it higher up. As easy as it gets. Now, how is that on the oscillator wise? So here as well, I think I saw a lot of people shorting this. Yeah, happy days, like that's fine. I'm not really in the aim to short anything like this kind of move, just because for going back at support is nothing special for me to short at it. I just want the confirmation for failure anything below us. So yeah, we had the reversal, trend change, and positive cash flow. That played out quite nicely on it, but right now what we are doing is still following the trend higher because this is still in continuation. And as well as a daily one, if we start to close the next candle or the 4-hour candle higher above the 71.7, we start to get back at the capital positive capital flow, cash flow, and cash flow positive, right? And you still are in this whole high time frame frequency bots. So you're still on, slow but on, right? So yeah, that's still pushing a little bit more higher up. But yeah, that's I think all on trading view. Sometimes is really weird with the toolbox. I think that's all on the biddy. Let me have a look on the different indicators. And yeah, there we have it. Quite big support as well below us. We are getting into the band. Let's start to fade in. So start to get quite thicker and heavier. Same thing we're having on the bulls from the delta indicator. So that's good. This is still resistance. That's correct, right? Because we've been failing from it already. So let's see if we can push it a little bit more higher. And yeah, above 74-ish. Yeah, 74.4. That's still the big block that we need to deal with. So technically, you look at the higher time frame, this is your range, right? This. Till you're gonna break from it. As easy as it gets. I know I draw a lot on my chart, but I like it. Somehow, I don't know. Liquidity wise, I think I saw quite a lot of stacking above it. Yeah, so we start to fill it up. It's still weak on the liquidity above us. Let me just erase. What? Oh, here. Why is it all the way here? In trading. So yeah, it starts still to get filled up, not that heavily as we see it over here, right? This is only 20 axis. That's still okay. But yeah, aiming to get back at it, that's still fine. On top of that, you can look at the order blocks, right? So that means we still facing into this whole orders over here that potentially could bring us a little bit more higher up. And then, yeah, there is some fading into it, but then the bigger stuff start to get a little bit more higher up. And as a second support level, if you look at it, from the low that we settled on 65.5, you still have that whole freaking block over here of 1k or 1.5k of orders, and sometimes even the 700 of it, right? Bits laying there. So this is still kind of heavily holding this up, right? We are not really aiming for it to grab it, but this is still kind of like aiming as a support-ish. You can call it like that way. But yeah, there is some stacking above us. So if you're going to grab that, then that's fine, because then we start to regain this whole positioning. And if we start to get lower, then yeah, that will fill up, and we might even step off from 68-ish right over here. But yeah, this is still a little bit more heavier, and I'm quite heavy on the orders, so they are not showing that much. But if I'm going to be decreasing on them, you can see that this is start to fill up quite quickly, quicker than below us, right? So yeah, that's something that if you like to look at it, then you can. I'm still working on an MMT one to set it up. I'm quite busy right now and not really bothering with it. But yeah, overall, still good, right? And that one I can show. Now let's move on, or let's see what you are guys talking in the chat. If you have any questions about Bitcoin, then I will move on to the alts. I'm speaking today. Oh my fucking god! I hope not. Readers, yeah, the 70.5. Yeah, that's the one. CryptoPoly. Hello, Adrian. That's so weird that there's so many memes or gifs with my name. And I'm not talking about the boxer, Adrian, but like different one. Yeah, famous. Like I don't want to be famous at all. Nope. Nope. But yeah, if that's clear, then I'm gonna move on to hype. One of the great trades that I took lately was the one from the lows at 37.6. I've been mentioning that from last Sunday. Coming back at the support, holding it. Yes, it had some wicks, right? Up and down. Right, that's sell-off. That was funny manipulation on their chain that they had, not from their own, but more from a trader that that got hunted quite quickly. But something fun to watch sometimes. But still, mentioning this, right? What I always do, and like always rather do, is keep your stop loss below the previous support wick, right? Or if you're aiming as secure as possible, then, for example, if you aim for the low of that body, right, then set an amount of stop loss that you like to have, right? Most likely, I'm going with 2. We're beginning to have some room to breathe, or 1.5, and then I'm starting to laddering into that position quite heavily to get it as small as possible as I can get, right? But yeah, that's kind of like a rule of mine that I'm doing, and yeah, it's a perfect one, right? So far, and I had it somewhere like, I think my stop loss was around 36.5 over here, so not even close that it got touched. I don't know. I need to check on the exchanges. I don't remember anymore. But yeah, still, really good move. So even on this week, it took my first TP on it, so that was already quite nice. And it come back and was fucking around over here, so I moved my stop loss quite quickly to cover it, and then I added shitloads to the position and let it run. And now we are aiming to get close to my second TP, and that's underside retest over here. I just put it on the chart to show you where that's the level that I'm aiming for. And it's still good, really great. Perfect regain of this whole range. So we set a new high. We got into the resistant technique area, and now we could even push one more into the high, or we're gonna break out from it. Let's see. But that's technically still, and it is, in the whole freaking uptrend, right? So you cannot deny that. We didn't break anything, nothing major at all. So you could argue low time frame that we have this coming up, right? Because we did technically break this, and then small over here, but the major one wasn't broken. On the wick, yes, not on the body. So I'm not gonna take that, definitely not. I'm still aiming that we're gonna get back at quite higher up into this resistance area or this structure. So starting with, and that's the 42 area. So all of this stuff, what we've been dealing over here, that's been quite heavily pulled, if you can say that. I want to get back at there and retest some stuff. So not really looking at this when potentially this still could play out, right? Like even if you get into that one, pullback, right? Because that could be the pullback, and then you have the whole movement. What could play out, but I'm not looking at it at all. So, but yeah, that's there. definitely, for someone who wants to take it, and I think Stu's gonna take it. So overall, yeah, great trade. Really, really nice one. Quite juicy. So quite nice to see it. Hope I'm not sure if you guys took it. I didn't hear anyone else. And yeah, there is an overlapping order block as well. There are two separate blocks below us, so that could be the resistance as well. I've been mentioning, right, that that's two FIB could play it out into it, and then we start to get at this potential area that I want to get. And there I might maybe look at the shorts. Let's see how the card's gonna lay out. But, but yeah, I was quite vocal about it last week, and yeah, there it is. It played out, and it's quite nice one so far. Let me have a look. Exchange. So far, this is it. Perfect. So yeah, still quite a lot of liquidity. Quite nice. Potentially, yeah, another one. November, September, we could potentially pull back from it just because we have the small cap in the liquidity and not much above that. So let's see how we're gonna be dealing with. But that movement from even beginning of freaking 25-ish in February, that's a freaking proper one, if you ask me. Right, this is a really, really nice one. That's already at 58%. We did another one from here to here, so you're already aiming for 1x, right? Yeah, 1x rate. Great stuff. So yeah, next one, injective, same thing. What we talk about Sunday, the whole RSI flip over here. We got it perfect to the T. So right, quite nice one. I did add to my position, to my margin more. I didn't want to move my position because I have on injective AVAX, Solana, Render, and now Hype. It's my third position already on different exchanges. I have way too good positions on them to move around or re-add to the position and move the entry. So I'm gonna add to the margin only, and that's fine with me. I don't mind. Same thing on AVAX, perfectly into the pocket for our swing failures. So awesome, awesome swing structure over here. We'll regain the high, and where do we aim for? Technically, this is already gone. Well, that can fly away. The first ever step off from it is definitely the underside retest to begin with. Now we're aiming for the 4-hour swing. 4-hour low. Done. Done so. Perfect. So yeah, great stuff on it as well. Solana, perfect. Perfect. The first area that we saw it on the Sunday stream, right? So 84-ish. We didn't come back to the lows. Also, that's what we didn't want to go back at the lows. We want to hold it on here. And then you're right now at the resistance. When it's a retesting. So flipping the 95, flipping that. We're gonna go back at the highs. Not much to hold in between. So great stuff. Render doing ballistic things. Didn't even bother to come as low as 1.5, so skipped all of that. And like always, it's freaking ballistic and front running quite heavily on some stuff. But yeah, let's see how we're gonna be dealing with the $2. So this whole area over here, that's a heavy resistance first. Or potentially we could have something like this, right? And then do the biggest stuff. Well, let's see. So yeah, that's all on the alts that I'm looking at. If you have any alts, let me know. I'm gonna cover as well quickly the spot back strategy because I want to see how some coins been been going for. Here is an interesting one, and I know if we are there. This is 15 days. Ooh, that's interesting. Mid-April. Yeah, 15 days away from hopefully a build up for some bigger stuff. Mm. Ooh. Oh yeah. What do I want to say is about that? Crow price goes sideways. Nicely hold, and we still didn't break the low at 0.07, so it's still holding. That's the low that you settled a low on the capital flow index. From that positioning, you still going higher. So really good, really good. I like that as well. Let's see. So far, I like it, and I've been buying shitloads every single week of it. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. The next one, what I want to mention was that one as well. Hype. Where are you? Right. The start of build up of the spot positioning was in the area of 22 and 20. So over here, that was the build up. Right. What did we had? We had perfect divergence. Perfect. That's what we want. Now, what we are doing is still uptrending. Why? Because we are doing the high after high on the chart, and we're doing high after high on the capital flow. Now, the reverse sign comes in when we're going to settle a new high, but a new low, a higher low on the capital flow. But that divergence is the first sign that we are starting to get weaker. And then you have the failure. Down, down. So far, this is still uptrending. That's a perfect buy as well on over here. So yeah, that was a good opportunity. Still great, uptrending. Even looking at the weekly, we starting to get at 50%, right? That's fine. Still fine. Still continuation higher up till we're not gonna settle getting back at 51, and this start to do something like that. And we're gonna do something like this, right? You have that, and that's done. We're gonna go lower. So far, not yet. And Solana, I'll look at it. Ooh, I've been here. That's it. Hey, did I delete that one? Fuck. Oh, it came back. Hey, trading view. Solana. That's a nice one. Here, another divergent move. And this is really good one as well. So you had a low and another lower low. And you had a low on the capital flow index. And then you start to get higher, higher, higher. That's freaking great build up. If you see any inflow on the capital flow and the price tend to go lower, you buy that. You buy that new low. That's the area where you should freaking buy. Yeah, same thing. Low, low, and you have a lower low, right? But capital flow start to build up more and more, and then instead of new low, with your new low, that's the proper one. That's the bear market stuff. Then you're going off. Nice, 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 nice. How is Injective doing? steady. But same thing. What do we have? We're having low, low. This is new low. And right now, after that, let's say price went a little bit lower, but then steadier sideways. We have an increase in the flow in the capital. So people are buying this up. That's already a good sign. Fuck yeah. Let's go. Let's freaking... Oh, render. It's going to be interesting. How are my bags doing? Oh, yeah. Nice. See, and this is as well like how freaking strong it starts to look like. So you had this whole freaking up movement, right, into the neutral line of capital. And then you had to pull back sideways and you're starting to get higher up. And this is steady sitting at the neutral line. So the next move higher up, this is going to go freaking into the high of 3.5. Fuck yeah. Yep. That's nice. Great stuff. To stake? Why would you stake the crow? Don't tell me you're using the card. Oh, bro, don't stake. I'm buying shitloads. My highest buy right now is Bitcoin Hype, Injective, AVAX, Solana, Render, Roll for Fun, Purr for Fun, Crow, BNB, Tau, I didn't even bother, and BGB, but BGB is still, I want it a little bit lower, to be honest with you. That's possible. It's the wrong chart, by the way. B. I would like BGB to get back at 1.4. But unfortunately, we have some buyers coming in. But what you getting for from staking Crow? And for how long you staking it? I don't bother to stake that anymore if I don't have the card. There is no need for me to stake that shit then. So. And I think that's going to be the last cycle that I'm going to be bothered with Crow at all. How long can they do this? Especially after now when they have the new regulations. And a lot of people are going away from the card. Especially in Europe. So let's see how long they can keep up with this. How is this doing? Forgot about that one. I need to speak with our degen monster. Fuck. Oh. Okay. Dip. Okay. Nice. Yeah. Anything else, boys and girls? Can have a look on Bitcoin as well. It'll be interesting. And it is great. Holy shit! That went straight from 60% into the 48. Like in one go. Holy fuck. Nice. And still, this is not the area that I want to buy Bitcoin. I really want it to go even lower than 50. Yeah. Technically, we are doing this kind of, right? We are in this area over here. This is funny. Straight into the pocket. Inflow, yeah, quite spike, but still not higher than the one previous deal we had. So it's still down or like moving into the lows. Right, low, high, low, low, high, low, 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 right? Interesting, at least. Good stuff, I guess. How are we? Anything else? Look at that. Fucking hell. To the T. To the T. Fuck, for a shit going like that, it respect the levels quite well. Fuck. Mm, yeah, Chair Michael. Dot? Fuck, it's been a while I look at Dot. That's still alive? Are people still bothered with that? Oh, I've been here. I'm not sure for who, but I've been here. Holy fuck. Wait, there should be a better chart, right? Is there? Or is that... Oh, that's not the one. Oh, fuck. If that's all, we want to say that DOT went below its list price. Oof. I need to do some dusting on it. That's been a while. Fucking hell. Perfect on the side retest. Failure of the list price. Like if even you can border, if that's the list price, I don't know if that's the old chart. I need to find which one should have the oldest one. Bitcoin? Oh. Oh, fuck no. Yeah, I guess that's the oldest one then. Bro. That doesn't look good at all. Okay, so here's another thing. Jesus. Still didn't fill the wick. Okay, so if that's the wick, that's fine. Okay, let's decrease this. Easy as that. You are in the fucking downtrend. Like I hope that people are like understanding this, right? This is whole downtrending, right? Like, how do you want people to jumping your boat? Like low, high, low. You have this freaking explosive move, right? Like from nowhere, technically, just by holding this, like that's fine, but you regain all of this shit, right? You are sideways, another one. So that's already your swing failure. And you are breaking quite easily the rest of it. All of that, what you're having here, and this is by far, if you look at it, by far not manipulate, but hold on aggressively, right? So they push it into the freaking highs whatsoever, let it drop, push it again, let it drop. Just for people to long the shit out of it, and they can run the stops. And they're gonna do that over and over and over. Same here, right? Into the highs, drop. Into the highs, drop. Like if you short this shit, like yeah, by all means, do it. This is perfect to short. Same here. All of that build up, you regained, you hold, and you failed, right? How the fuck you managed to do that? On like 2x. At least it respects quite perfectly, right? That's fine. But then you freaking had a perfect regain of this hip to go higher, at least into the $20 fucking. No, they dropped it at freaking 10 and heavily. That is crazy. I seriously don't like this. If any kind of token does this kind of moves, like you've a freaking aggressive move, and then seriously like downgrading like perfectly to the T, like that with one more and then another one. Oh, that's evil. That's just trying to stay alive by catching the longs, taking out the shorts. Yeah, easy. Yeah, one last run. Yeah, maybe, but I will even be surprised if it's gonna reach $6. 3x. Yeah, could be. But then another hand. So right now, and this is gonna be funny, right? Are you aiming for the low of this week, or are you just gonna long the shit out of it till one of that trades gonna play it out eventually? Because so far, this is after this whole freaking break of this, because not even considering this bullshit over here, the only aim is it could be the wick, and there is not much on it because so far, not even on, not even on structure you get anything because here freaking closing below, so you break in the structure, but then in somehow you manage to push it through all of the freaking resistance, right? And then it's still dropping off the cliff, and then again into the high. So yeah, shorting is the option for it. But then where the fuck you gonna long? This? I'm not gonna bother at all. Why? Because that sounds iffy as fuck. If that's gonna be holding on 1.2 and still all the way into this whole freaking wick here, yeah, you could. I'm not bothered with it. Like I even forget about that, but this still exists. I mean, still so far, I think that's still on his last breath. But yeah, not much. Not much for me. I rather like to be honest with you, like to bother with this, like this is some kind of special thing, right? To it. Like you need to or buying it spot and DCing the shit out of it. Okay, fine. But make sure you understand that you are like risking a bit more than instead buying something better, maybe even from this list, right? There are coins that are performing better than this bullshit. Like even Ray, assumably can be not better or change into the better perspective token than it used to be than that. That same thing goes like for this. Right? Same thing we will say, I'm gonna trade Tia. Right? This is all freaking downtrending, and that's been wrecking everyone since. Why? Because still, like every single move is DOS. Like, yeah, the moves are there. Same thing, right here. 1x almost move. What did you do? Nothing. What did you do after that? Like, quite a lot. So yeah, I think there are better coins to focus than that. On those, like, I don't bother. Like, even this bullshit. Like, I rather trade this that I have maybe a little bit more potential into it for the long run, right? And it's backed, even if that looks shit. I'm gonna leave all of this because it makes me quite giggle. about it, but even if it looks shit, it's still much more potential for it in long run. Why? Just because this is quite heavily hold, you know that. Like we all know that holding this structure after a big move with that a lot of value gap and liquidity below, it's require a lot of freaking funds to do that, right? Slowly breaking into it, but now you have a hold on your hip, or at least you can come back at the 1 hour structure below. And that, yeah, if you ask me, if you want that, that's the proper long, right? To reach even 0.8. But then what do you have is something quite nice. You're starting to change the character. So yeah, potentially that's a better aim. Mm. Even something like manipulated as BNB. That's a better structure, at least. Oh, that's a nice one. Ooh. That. That's been a while as well. Mm-hmm. Not gonna lie, kind of like the range on it. Hmm. It's fuck, why did I hear that earlier? That was a proper one as well. Twice. 2.29 can be really easily regained. Getting back at the high of the range. And then you give one more push into the high to get the 20 ones. Starting to get at this hip. Oh, that's a nice one. ADA start to look really juicy one for a potential move. I like that. Dang. Hmm. Interesting. I need to dive into that one. Definitely. ADA. In a while. Yeah, even Doge looks better than that fucking poopy coin. Yeah. Oh, that was a nice one. Regaining high at the resistance, coming back at the support, holding, dip 10 cent. You start to get back at the 11, and then you start to do the bigger stuff. So hopefully, I mean, for some people, gonna do it, changing the structure. Oh, the character more. It's fat. Fat, 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 fat. Nice. Oh shit. That's a nice one. How does it look like overall? Yeah. So a monthly close right here. That's gonna be quite rough with 6 days to go. At least the daily. So at least a daily. If you're gonna close right now, that's perfect because you still in a continuation upwards, right? You have the high, come back, another one, and you start to get at the resistance. Pardon me, at the resistance. So then closing the high over here, on a daily, attempting to get into the highs. So regaining that stuff, yeah, that's a game changing for Fed, because from the downtrend, you start to change it. Going back at the lows, you potentially, oh my fucking god, what did I do? You potentially aiming, go here, and then here, come back at the support, flip the RSI, and start to get here. So this, and this is your change of character. If and only if you start to deal with this resistance and holding on this support. I'm drawing way too much because you can see shit. So visualize that. You want to regain this. That means you need to go back at this high and hold on this support. Oh yeah, that's a really good play. Already starting looking like, especially on the daily wise, I like that. I like the pullback. Even you broke that shit doesn't matter anymore. Why? Because you did regain the high, and you are starting to aiming for underside retest of this. Perfect. Perfect. That's a really nice one. Of course, note that need to happen. If not, you start to fail this, you start to go lower. Then yes, you start to get at this whole structure over here. No matter, that's not the lower structure because there is plenty to go from it. But yeah, this start to look nice. Oh, I think I scared Jack away. I'm sorry. I yelled at you. Thanks. Yeah, no worries. uh, how are we looking? Not much happening from New York Open, right? Is there any? Oh, it wasn't news. Oh, wait. Ritopoli said that orange fucker gonna talk, right? So, yeah, that's why we are a little bit more quiet. How is Netflix going? Still waiting. Still waiting. And yeah, we're gonna retrace. That's gonna be funny. Retrace all of the way down here. Build up. Board. Get your numbers. And then send it. Writing while listening in. What are you writing? I hope you are not writing my words or marking them. Making bachelors. Oh, bachelor, man. Yeah. Good luck with that. Have fun. What you writing about? Hope not about me. Fucking hell. It'll be a disaster. Bachelor, yeah, bro. Tell me about it. Oh, look at that close, like hype. You bastard. Look at that. Can we squeeze it more? Like, fucking hell, they love this. Somehow, like sometimes I really love how hype is operating. Research methodology. That's a quite interesting one, actually. Not gonna lie, it's not the sexiest one, right? But it's an interesting one. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not like like people like why people are looking at those old fossils. I don't understand that as well. There are plenty better tokens to look at. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, like not all of them are great, but still good enough. What is this meme coin doing? Ooh, that was rough. Ooh, that was really fucking rough on the eve. Like losing, wait, shit, losing this, getting back, and barely hold on this structure over here. Like, oof, yeah, it needed that push. Yep. Oh, that was rough. And then again, you lost it. You fucking, oh, Jesus. This meme coin, like, they're struggling so much. And they still are the resistance. It still didn't regain. So failing here, getting below that, like, bro, you start to get at 2K, and then happily, I'm gonna see you at 1.9. Okay, go. This freaking meme coin. How's this doing? Still down? Good. It should be. Oh, this is interesting. Would be nice if this time deep is gonna hold the lows, or potential to get back at 0 0.4 or at least 0 0.5. Okay, cool, cool. All right, I'm not gonna bother you anymore, guys. This is what it is. I hope that was quite clear. It was chill stream. It used to cover some things from Sunday, and yeah, not much going on. Not much changing, not much going on. It's still uptrending till we gonna see any break of our summation 67.9, right? Break that, getting back at lows and try to hold on that. Overall, still good to go. Good to go higher up. Back at February. That's the aim. And fail that, I see you in freaking bear market stuff. Or we're gonna break sorry, are we gonna do this? Like, this could be as well the one fucking potential move, right? What we're gonna deal with. If that's gonna be the case, like, boy, oh boy, believe me, I'm gonna put my house on this shit. What did Viking say? October? But that's gonna be a long way. That's gonna be a long stretch to do that. Come back, hit a high, gain, fail, and you can do something like this again, fail again, one more. Yeah, that's gonna be horrible. Filing apart. What you mean, filing apart? The fuck you mean with that, bro? Listen, I'm not living in a fucking forest or in US with the house built from paper. It's a proper house, and the one that I'm kind of starting to build as well. So there's a lot to pull and put it on it, but if I want to risk it, that's the second one. Ah, all good. All good. All right, that's gonna be all, I guess. So happy days, and I'll see you Sunday. Let's see if we're gonna reach at least 74 for till then. That's the whole plan. See you. Have a good one. Enjoy, and yeah, see you Sunday. Bye bye. Love you.